Hello, I'm Kevin. This is about Panthers football, and we're talking about Bryce Young in particular. So, so 1 week after Bryce Young threw for 124 yards in one of Carolina's ugliest losses of the season, he went to Atlanta on one good ankle and threw for more yards than any Panther ever had. Welcome to Panthers 02. And this one matters because November 16th, 2025 isn't just a game where Bryce Young put up a giant number. Looking back from the end of the season, this is one of the... So Carolina comes into Atlanta at 5-5. And the Panthers are confusing. They just walked into Lambeau Field and beaten Green Bay, then came home and lost 17-7 to the Saints. Young threw for 124 yards in that game. Carolina lost 2 of 3, and the passing offense wasn't producing enough explosions. Atlanta's 3-6, and yeah, that's worse. But there's a reason this doesn't feel like an easy Panthers game. The Falcons have lost four straight, including an overtime loss to Indianapolis and Berlin. But they've got Michael Penix Jr., Drake London, Bijan Robinson, and a pass rush that's suddenly starting to heat up. And remember, Carolina already embarrassed these guys once, week 3, 30-0. So Atlanta's not trying to save its season. They're just trying not to get swept by the Panthers. The stakes for Carolina are simpler. Stay alive in the NFC South and prove that 5-5. The Falcons' own roundup collected 14 national picks. 11 picked Atlanta. Only Dan Graziano, Bucky Brooks, and Claire Brennan took Carolina. And the biggest question about Bryce Young was comically specific, considering what's about to happen here. Can this guy push the ball downfield? Carolina had emphasized the vertical passing game all week long. Young was completing 35% of his throws that traveled 20 or more yards through the air. That ranked him 23rd in the league. Meanwhile, Atlanta's pass rush had 29 sacks, 13 of them in the prior 2 weeks. On the other side, everybody's watching Penix to Drake London. London had 222 yards and 4 touchdowns over Atlanta's previous 2 games. Then there's Bijan Robinson. Carolina knows exactly where Atlanta wants to run him, outside. And stopping that is going to be a huge part of this afternoon. So what were you expecting here? Were you expecting a defensive division game? Revenge for Atlanta? Maybe Atlanta trying to ride Rico Dowdle and keep Bryce out of trouble? Yeah, none of that happens. So Atlanta gets the ball first and punts. Carolina takes it over at its 27, and immediately Young looks different. He hits Michael Evans. Jalen Coker gets 15. Xavier Legette gets 22. On 4th and 2, Carolina goes for it and converts. Young keeps moving him. 12 plays, 73 yards, and with 5:25 left in the first, he finds rookie Tedroya McMillan for 7 yards and a touchdown. Panthers 7-0. Atlanta responds pretty much right away. Penix finds Drake London for 2 enormous gains, and Bijan Robinson finishes the drive at 7-7. Then comes the moment where, for a few minutes, the whole Bryce Young episode might be over, because Young went down after getting hit by safety Billy Bowman Jr. His ankle got twisted underneath him, and the card came out, but Young said, "Go away." He walked to the locker room himself, and Andy Dalton started to warm up. But Young got taped, and he came back. Officially, he didn't miss a single snap. And here's the problem. Atlanta's starting to beat the hell out of Carolina. Bijan scores again, then Tyler Allgeier scores. 21-7 Falcons. And at halftime, London has 108 receiving yards, and Robinson has 93 on the ground. But with 1:35 left in the half, Bryce uncorks a 39-yard completion to McMillan. Carolina salvages a field goal by Ryan Fitzgerald. So instead of going into halftime down 14, it's 21-10. And that little field goal matters. You'll see why later. Carolina gets the second half kickoff. Young hits Coker for 21 yards. Next play, he drops one down the left side to Xavier Legette. 36 yards, touchdown. So now it's 21-16. And on the kickoff, Bam Martin Scott knocks the ball loose from Natron Brooks. Princely Umamelian, is that right? Recovers it at the Atlanta 32. Suddenly, Carolina has a chance to take a lead, but they do not. They got inside the 10, they went for 4th and 1, and Caden Ellis got Young before he could get there. That's a missed opportunity, and a big one. Atlanta gets the ball back, but then the game changes again. Michael Penix Jr. is injured in the third quarter, and Kirk Cousins has to take over. Atlanta's offense, and that looked almost unstoppable in the first half, just stops. Carolina gets another Carolina field goal, 21-19. So it's a 2-point game heading into the fourth. And now, something completely useless but objectively wonderful. Ryan Fitzgerald, the Panthers' rookie kicker, he'd actually kicked inside Mercedes-Benz Stadium twice as a high school player. So this isn't even his first rodeo in this building. Remember that, because we're coming back to him later. The fourth order got ugly. Carolina's defense keeps giving Bryce opportunities. Bryce keeps taking shots. McMillan gets another 29-yard catch, but the drive stalls. With a little over 3 minutes left, Carolina has 4th and 1 near midfield. Young tries to come out from under center. His bad ankle betrays him, and he gets tangled up around right guard Chandler Zavala, and down he goes. Turnover on downs, and this feels like the mistake that's going to cost the game. Atlanta starts at the Carolina 39. The Panthers' defense holds, but Zane Gonzalez drills a 52-yarder, so now it's 24-19 Falcons. Bryce needs a touchdown. Do the math. He needs a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. He opens with Bryson Tremaine. Then he comes up on 4th and 4 again at the Carolina 41. Young finds Jatavion Sanders for 10 yards. Move the chains. Then Tremaine again for 11 yards. Then Young dumps one to Rico Dowdle, and Dowdle takes off. Touchdown, right? Except no. Replay shows that Dowdle stepped out on the Atlanta 10. So now Carolina has to finish this thing. First down, nothing. Second down, incomplete. 3rd and goal from the 12. Young rolls out. Tetroy McMillan works free. Nobody's on him. Young finds him, touchdown. There's 1 minute left. And Carolina still needs 2 points. So Young goes right back to the pass and finds Jalen Coker. 2-point conversion. Panthers lead by 3, 27-24. That's the drive, but it's not the ending. Atlanta gets 39-yard kickoff return. Cousins hits David Sills and Bijan again. Gonzalez kicks from 45 with 16 seconds left. It's good. Score's tied at 27, so we're going to overtime. Atlanta gets the first possession, and Carolina caught a break here because Cousins completed the pass to Bijan that would have moved the chains. But a penalty, illegal man downfield, wipes it away. Atlanta punts, and Bryce gets the ball back. First play, Rico Dowdle gets 1 yard. Second play, Young checks it down to Tommy Tremble, and Tremble breaks tackles, stiff arms his way through Atlanta, and turns a short throw into 54 yards, all the way down to the Falcons' 15. Carolina doesn't need to get cute here. 3 Dowdle runs puts the ball right where Fitzgerald wants to kick from. 28-yard attempt. And remember, the high school kid, he'd already kicked in this building twice. Ryan Fitzgerald. Ball game. Panthers 30, Falcons 27. Bryce Young went 31-45, 448 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. A 123.2 passer rating. He broke Cam Newton's Carolina single-game passing record of 432 yards, and he does it after going to the locker room with an ankle injury. Afterward, Bryce is visibly limping. When somebody asks him to describe what the ankle felt like, his answer is basically perfect. He says, pain. Pain's an accurate way to sum it up. Canales said the medical staff determined the ankle was structurally sound, and from there, it became a matter of Young's pain tolerance. Young gave him the thumbs up. He wanted back in the game. So Young keeps returning to one word afterward: finish. It's on the walls. It's part of what Carolina is. It's part of what they're trying to build as an identity. And this was Young's 10th game-winning drive since entering the NFL. The Panthers improved to 6-5 and complete their first season sweep of Atlanta in 12 years. Then Tampa Bay loses to Buffalo, meaning Carolina ends the day half a game out of first place in the NFC South. On Monday, Canales also owns one of Carolina's mistakes. After that third quarter kickoff fumble gave the Panthers the ball deep inside Atlanta territory, the offense got behind schedule before the failed fourth down. Canales says he should have called timeout rather than letting the situation get away from them. And Bryce gets something else out of this game: his first NFC Offensive Player of the Week award. Wasn't a bad response to 124 yards against New Orleans. Now here's where that September and November sweep becomes huge. Carolina didn't run away with the division. They finished the regular season 8-9, but so did the Buccaneers, and somehow, so did the Falcons. Atlanta actually got eliminated when they were 4-9. Then they reeled off their final 4 games with wins and finished 8-9. And in Week 18, Atlanta beat New Orleans 19-17. That Falcons victory creates a 3-way tie at 8-9. Who owns the decisive advantage in that 3-way tiebreaker? McFly, Carolina. Why? Because the Panthers swept Atlanta. The win that we're watching in this episode ultimately gives Carolina the 2025 NFC South Championship. That's its first division title since 2015 and its first playoff appearance since 2017. Atlanta finishes third and misses the playoffs. Carolina hosts the Rams in the wild card round and very nearly keeps the magic going. Young runs for a touchdown. He throws for 264 yards. Late in the fourth, he hits Jalen Coker for the go-ahead score, but Matthew Stafford answers. LA wins 34-31 with a touchdown in the final minute. So this isn't the moment that Bryce Young suddenly became flawless, and that's important. There's still bad games. There's still stretches where Carolina's offense just disappeared. But the trajectory was no longer theoretical. Young finished 2025 with career highs in passing yards, touchdowns, completion percentage, and passer rating. 3,011 yards, 23 touchdowns against 11 picks, 63.6% completion, 87.8 rating. And 6 of his 12 career game-winning drives came during that season alone. So Carolina picked up his 5th-year option in April 2026, keeping him under contract for this coming season. And as we sit here in August of 2026, Bryce Young's no longer fighting just to prove he belongs in the NFL. He's Carolina's clear starting quarterback. The next question's bigger. How good can he actually become? The Panthers haven't rushed into a long-term extension. They've got the 5th-year option in place, and 26 becomes another year for evaluation. But compared to where the story was when Young got benched back in 24, that's a heck of a different conversation. And if I'm trying to pick one game where that transition becomes impossible to ignore, I don't know how I pick anything other than this one. One bad ankle, 14 points down, 448 yards, division rival. And eventually, although nobody knows it yet, a win Carolina has to have to become division champion. So next time we're changing sports Astro 74 takes us to August 23rd, 2015. The Dodgers are in Houston. Clayton Kershaw did his job. The Astros need extra innings. Then Jason Castro gets a 2-0 pitch from Chris Hatcher and sends it into the Crawford boxes. The umpire's got to take another look at it, and if that ball stays a home run, Houston has a walk-off, a sweep, and one hell of an ending. That's Astro 74, Jason Castro, but this one was Bryce Young, Panther 2. I'm Kevin. Thanks for stopping by. Maybe I'll see you again.